Hello everyone, here is our last video for chapter 8, so we are in 8.4, and I do have quadratic regression filled out, but we are actually going to skip that. We are not going to cover that. What we are going to talk about is vertical motion model, and so vertical motion model is shown by this formula here. So we have a negative 16 times t squared plus the initial vertical velocity, so it's shown with a v and a sub-zero here, and then times t plus the initial height. And then h is going to represent the height, t is going to represent the time. Okay, so again, do this top part as a warm-up. So look for a pattern of what it's decreasing or increasing by, and just write whatever function you think might fit that. Okay, so we're going to go to example 1 down below, and we're going to take a look at this story problem. So it says, a company offers rectangular pool sizes with dimensions as shown. Each pool includes a deck around it, so the deck around it, and then if Caroline wants a 15-foot wide pool with a deck, how many square feet will she need? So it says to write a quadratic function that shows that. Remember, quadratic is our x squared. So write a quadratic function, and so we are going to have the area of the pool, so that would be base times length, so, or width times length, so width and then length. So the width of the pool is 2x right here plus 8, and that's because this is 4, so right here is 4 and right here is 4. So the width is 2x plus 8, and then the length is your x right here. We already accounted for this 4, so we're just going to account for this 4 right here. So we have x plus 8 as well. Sorry, we are going to include that one because we want the whole length. Okay. So now go ahead and FOIL this out. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x plus times 8 would be 16x. 8x and 64. So our quadratic formula is f of x equals 2x squared, combine like terms, so plus 24x plus 64. Okay, so now we want to know if she wants 15-foot wide pool, how big does her yard need to be? So we're going to plug in 15 for our x and c. Oops. So we have 2 times 15 squared plus 24 times 15 plus 64. Okay, so go ahead and plug that in to your calculator, and you're going to get 874. So Caroline would need 874 feet squared if she wants a 15-foot wide pool. If you have any questions, go ahead and send them to Miss Holstad and I. Okay, we're going to move down, and this next one is a try it. So go ahead and try this next one. So pause the video and try it, and then check your answer. Here's a little helpful hint that the length is now 3 times instead of 2 times. So this is now, you're going to change to a 3x. So instead of this 2x here, you're going to make it a 3x. So go ahead again and try that out. Okay, so by doing that, you have the 3x here, and then you FOIL just like we did up above. And so now we get 3x squared plus 32x plus 64. and it wants to know how this differs from this one. So we need to go ahead and plug 15 in again for that x. So go ahead and do that. So plugging it in, we now get that Caroline would need 1,219 square feet. So looking at this one and what we got above, how does it change? Well, we actually just need, it says, how does the function change? And what changes is this 24 becomes a 32. So let's go ahead and so the 24 became a 32, and then the 2 became a 3. So that's how it kind of changes, and you can write that in your own words. So let's go ahead and keep on going. So now we're going to look at a diver jumping off, and its initial vertical velocity is 16 feet squared. So we're going to go ahead and write a quadratic function. And remember, in our notes we were given a vertical velocity equation. So we're going to use that idea, which was written as h of t equals negative 16 t squared plus the initial vertical velocity plus the initial height. Needs to be a little bit smaller. Okay, so when we're looking at this problem, our vertical velocity we said is 16, and then our initial height is shown in this picture by the 30. So we're going to go ahead and plug that in. So we have h of t equals negative 16 times t squared plus r16 times t, whoops, I forgot the t up there, plus our initial height, which was 30. So again, this came from there, and this came from there. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and go to the next one. So how many feet above the platform will the diver be at the highest point? So we want this point up here. This high point right here. We want the vertex, right? So we're going to go ahead and use what we've learned in previous notes, and we're going to find the vertex. So we need the vertex, and we actually need this part of it because we want the y part of it, the highest value. So we first have to find the x though. So we do that, remember, by doing the negative b over 2a. So negative b is 16 times negative 16, since that's our a value. So we get 1/2. So it's 1/2 seconds that he reaches his highest point. And then to find the actual highest point, we're going to plug in the 1/2. So we're going to do negative 16 times 1/2 squared plus 16 times 1/2 plus 30. And if you plug that into your calculator, you get 34. So the highest point is 34 feet. Okay, so now go ahead and try the try it problem. So now his maximum height is at 20, and the initial velocity is 8. So go ahead and give that a try. Okay, so for this one, the highest point would be 21 feet. So again, we're going to be plugging in the 8 for the b value, which was the V naught, and then we plug in the 20 for the initial height, and then we get 1/4 for the x value of the vertex, plug that in, and our final answer is 21 feet high. So let's go ahead and move on down. Okay, so now we're going to do our last try it problem. So go ahead and pause it and give it a shot.
Hey.
Sorry. So, okay, again, so sorry for that. So the first question says, what is the vertex and what does it represent? Again, this is a try it problem, so I really recommend that you pause it and try it before listening to the example of me going through it. Okay, so the vertex, remember, is this here and this here, and it's the opposite of what's in there. So our vertex is at +1, 8. Then it says, graph the path of the golf ball. So 1, and then up 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. So right here. And then we can see the dilation is 2, and it's negative, so it's going to be going downward. And it's going by 2 for the next ones. Okay. And then we need some more points on where it's going to hit. So we're going to plug in, let's say, 1, 2, 3 into here and then see what we get. So go ahead and try that. See my work here, I plugged in 3 and I ended up with 0. So 3 is 0, which means that my graph goes like this. And we don't have to worry about the negatives because we can't have negative feet and we can't have negative time. So we only need this part of the graph right here. So then it says, what is the y-intercept? Well, the y-intercept is this point here, and it's at 0, 6. And what does that represent? That represents the starting height. Of 6 feet. What is the x-intercept? That's here, and that is 3, 0, and that is saying that the ball is going to hit the ground after 3 seconds. So how long is the ball in the air? From 0 to 3, so 3 seconds. Okay, so that's it for today. If you have any questions on any of this, please email Miss Holstead and I, and we are happy to either answer your question over email or make a short video if it doesn't make sense in the email. We are really here to help you in any way we can. Thanks!